Welcome to Community Conversations. I'm your host, Steve Mantis, and my guest today is the Mayor of Thunder Bay, Keith Hobbs. Welcome, Keith.
Hi, Steve. Nice to see you again.
Thanks so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
So, Keith, let's talk a little bit about your early days. Tell us a little bit about your background and some of your time growing up, some of those experiences.
Well, I was born in London, England, and came over to Canada. We actually landed in Montreal on the SS Franconia, and I was just a youngster. And my dad actually flipped a coin. Heads, we live in Canada. Tails, we live in the United States. And here we are in Canada. We lived in Kitchener, Ontario, up to Sioux Lookout for a couple of years, to Thunder Bay in 1964, and I'm glad we came here. It's been great. My parents were both military people. My dad was in the Coldstream Guards, served in Africa and Italy during the war, and my mother was MI5 British intelligence. She worked on Hitler's Enigma code. She was a staff sergeant.
Oh my gosh.
Very fascinating lady. We're at her 90th birthday.
So you're not going to get arrested for sharing this information, are you now?
No, actually, she was sworn to secrecy for 50 years, and she just shared that information with us about 5 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
And she was just recognized in 2009 by the Prime Minister of England for her work on that Enigma code. And she's a very interesting lady, a linguist. She speaks several languages, and she just got back from a trip in England and France, and 91 years old. She's in aquatics, Tai Chi, and she's my mentor. She's my hero.
And she's here in Thunder Bay still?
No, actually, she retired to Victoria. She couldn't take the harsh winters here, but she's still going strong. And, so I think that's where I get my intelligence from. I know some people disagree with that. But she was just a great mentor. And so I got into policing probably because of their military backgrounds and discipline that we had growing up. And I did 34 years with Thunder Bay Police in criminal investigation, criminal intelligence. I ran that operation for about 8 years, did wiretaps, organized crime investigations, looked after Uniform Patrol Branch, and actually did 2 years of complaints against police too. And all through that I wore two hats. I was president of the Police Association and vice president for a few years as well.
So, I'm just want to come back to your role as taking complaints. Because I'm sure as mayor, you get complaints as well. So what did you learn from your time on the police force? How do you manage that complaint process?
I think it was a great experience for me doing that complaints job. It taught me conflict resolution and how to deal with people, how to appease people, and oftentimes in the policing profession you're dealing with life and death, and you're dealing with emergencies, and so actually I found it a great transition as mayor to deal with that. When we had the flood, for example, I was an incident commander as a police officer, and it came as second nature to me to take charge of that flood situation, and we got the safe home programs going. That was a real interesting one. We did that on by the seat of our pants. Tim Camisso, our city manager, came to me, said we have hundreds of homes flooded, a lot of people without insurance, underinsured, and we have a real health concern, and it's probably going to cost us $4 or $5 million to get this done, and we don't know whether we have the funding. So I said, do it. You have to do it. We have to do it right for people, and so those are kinds of the decisions you have to make quickly. But when you get people in conflict with the city or with their neighbors or whatever, which I get a lot of complaints as mayor, neighbor complaints, bylaw complaints, I've been well positioned to handle those, and if the management level can't do it, or the front lines can't do it, I'm kind of the last resort. They come to the mayor, and I usually get the managers back on the job, or I'll try and resolve it myself if I can, and we've had a lot of success. We've helped a lot of people out.
The reason I'm kind of thinking about it is because it can be hard in a way to receive the complaint. You're doing the best job you can, and here someone's kind of going, yeah, but what I sense with you is you're pretty open to this stuff, and then when you are open, you actually may learn something along the way that is actually going to improve, things for that individual, but also improve things down the road. Do you find any of that?
Yeah, Steve, I said the other night when I was paying tribute to Tim Camiso as his last city council meeting, there's probably no other sector other than municipal politics where you can work your butt off and still get criticized daily. And, we take it. Taxes are always a big issue. But if you talk to people decently, you treat them with respect, which I always did as a police officer, that goes a long way, right, front and center. But you know what, there's always a resolve to every problem. I believe that if there's a problem, there's a solution to it. And that's the way you have to go into this job, that there's a solution for everything. The flood, we came through that, I think, with flying colors. Yes, we have a lawsuit ongoing right now, but that's every other municipalities have had that as well. And with climate change coming at us, it should be on everybody's radar. Every municipality now should be looking at that. So there's always evolving issues. It's a very interesting job. You're putting out fires daily, literally and figuratively.
So you spent 34 years in the police force. You retire, I'm guessing you have a decent pension. Why the heck did you decide to go into politics?
I think part of it was the crime issue and safe communities, and I really railed on other police administrations and city council for not really stepping up to the plate and addressing the issues, the alcohol, the drug issues. And those are, in 1997, our association did a paper on that very issue and how we had the highest mental health illness related to alcohol and drugs. Nothing had changed since 2010, so I figured, maybe if I'm the mayor, I can evoke some of that change. And I think we're working on it in a big way. Politics is slow, but we've been to the federal and the provincial government, and I hope now, with this recent election and the marrying up of provincial and a federal Liberal government, that we're going to have some headway on that now and some traction. Because I think if we take care of those issues, we're going to see this city really prosper with all the mining and everything that's coming at us. But we need to take care of those issues because it drags us down.
And what are the key issues you think, those underlying issues that affect crime here in Thunder Bay?
Well, alcohol and drugs for sure. Homelessness. Homelessness is a huge piece, and we just met with the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing. We met with the federal government, and they just turned a blind eye to the issue. They were actually getting out of that business. And I talked about Medicine Hat. The mayor of Medicine Hat eradicated homelessness, but he got $30 million from the provincial government for capital projects, and he got $3 million year over year for operating.
So that capital projects is to build more affordable housing?
Exactly. Build more affordable housing, have shelters, and he centralized everything. Everything's in one spot shop. So I went to Minister McMeekin and I said, all things being equal, I should get $60 million a year and $6 million year over year for operating. No money because the feds aren't coming to the table. Well, he doesn't have that excuse anymore.
Right on. We need to take a short break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.